Hi, I'm Jeff Silver with Big Valley Mortgage, and I'm here with Mike Sandoval of Remax Gold. How you doing, Mike?
Good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
All right.
Hey, we were just kind of spitballing here a couple minutes ago and talking about the market, what it's doing out there right now. The weather's getting better, that's for sure, and it's funny how many more people are coming out now on weekends. I'm noticing open houses. I did an open house last Saturday just for a few hours.
Yes.
We had 25 groups through.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a lot of activity for an open house.
I know. And it went on the market on Friday. We did the open house Saturday, and then they did another one on Sunday, and it sold.
Wow. So in 3 days?
Friday
Saturday,
to
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? So let's talk about the market right now. What are you seeing?
So this year's market is a lot better than last year's first quarter market. Statistically speaking, we're actually doing a little better. But the feel out there, the consensus is that, buyers are out there now. They're serious. I think now they've realized if they were in those smaller rate mortgages, they're done with that house because they've been, wanting to be moving, but they're figuring out the interest rates are kind of staying, which we'll talk about in a minute. But no, the market's great right now.
Yeah, so when you say the interest rates, the smaller interest rates, you're talking about the people that are going to sell.
Yes.
So more homes are coming on the market right now, and that's kind of what I've seen in the numbers as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, and I am also seeing a lot of buyers out there not starting to look, starting to get a feel for the market. As you mentioned, I did an open house about 3 weeks ago, and we had about 12 groups walk through, 10 to 12 groups. So it's great. It's great for exposure for the listing. It's also great for buyers to get their feet wet and figure out what they can buy in today's price point.
Yeah, so you're seeing more. I mean, when you're seeing 25 groups going through, yes, some of them are neighbors, but the neighbors are kind of trying to get an idea whether maybe they should sell.
That's right.
Now and move.
That's absolutely correct. A colleague of mine this last weekend said that he talked to a seller in that specific condo complex and mentioned that they wanted to sell, and he met with them and is putting their house on the market next week.
Which is that can be another subject here, because
right.
I'd kind of like to touch base on that if you don't mind.
Yeah.
When somebody's thinking about putting their house on the market, what are some good thoughts? What should they be thinking about when thinking about putting the house on the market?
Springtime is the best time because, of course, the weather's nicer, everything's in bloom, though, and people are naturally interested. It's kind of a change in the time. So I would say springtime is the best time to put your house on the market. If you're a seller thinking of selling, figure out what other homes are selling for in the neighborhood to get a base value to know if, hey, is it the right time for me to sell? Is it the right price for me to sell? But yeah, those are kind of extenuating circumstances as a seller you want to evaluate. Plus, where do you want to go? I mean, you sold your house very quickly in a weekend. Now what? What are we going to buy? So
right, yeah. In fact, people are a little skeptical on putting their house on the market because they're wondering, shoot, can I find another home? Can I find the home that I want?
That's absolutely correct. And not only that, the payment, Jeff. Well, when they bought it, interest rates were probably lower, like we talked about. Now there's, what are rates around? 6%? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, you hit it somewhere around 6%.
Around there, exactly.
It was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, the rates were actually moving in the downward direction.
Ooh. Exciting.
It was starting to look like, okay, we're going to get sub 6. We're going to get below 6. And we did just touch on it like on Friday, I want to say the 6th.
Okay.
It was somewhere around, maybe it was the weekend before. So that would be the 31st, I think. But the market was, as I said, moving down. And then I was actually watching it because I was going to lock a refi.
Of course.
And I thought, with the direction it's going, let's wait.
Right.
Let's see what it looks like on Monday. Well, unfortunately, we went to war with Iran on that Friday, and I didn't get the phone call saying that they were going to war, so I didn't lock.
Right.
But most of the time, it's interesting because most of the time that a war happens,
yes,
we'll see rates go down.
Interesting. What do you think that is?
It's the turmoil of the war and so they have to keep the economy going, so they keep the rates down.
Okay.
But in this case, it involves oil.
Right.
And oil is an interesting commodity. in that it affects everything we do. So the prices of things begin to go up.
Of course.
If oil gets a little more scarce, and that's what's happening in this war, is oil is becoming more scarce. I believe we're down 20% of world supply,
Right.
which is a huge chunk to be down. So if the oil becomes more expensive, which it has,
Right.
then prices of everything goes up, and that's inflation. And to try and curb inflation, you raise the rates to slow people's spending down.
Right.
And that helps keep inflation from continuing to rise, because if rates are low and money's cheap, people will go out and continue to spend, and then that causes more inflation. That's inflation on top of inflation. So what they do is raise the rates to get people to slow down their spending. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're still they're still fantastic rates. I mean, I just locked a rate. It was 6% on an 80% conventional loan, and it was 6%. A few days ago, it was 6% with a little bit of a cost, and then yesterday when we locked it, 6%. The cost was up a little more, but there was concern that it was going to continue.
Of course.
It was going to get worse. So we locked. And sure enough, later that day, we got 2 more price increases.
Ooh.
So I think this is temporary. I honestly do.
Okay.
I still believe now is a great time to buy. People need to continue doing what they're doing, because I think that the oil, this crisis that we're into, obviously I don't have a crystal ball.
Of course.
So I don't know for sure what's going to happen. But what I'm reading is this is not going to last a long time.
Right.
They're going to get this under control, and when they do, the price of oil is going to go down. I just saw that the futures right now are selling at that. A future means that it's a price that people are believing is going to happen in the future.
Okay.
A certain date.
Yes.
And it's $63 a barrel.
Oh.
Is what
So
I
very
saw.
optimistic.
Very optimistic. I mean, we got to 119. I call it $120 a barrel last week, and then it came down to right around 82, 83. It jumped up a little more, but then I'm looking at the futures, and the futures are telling us back down in the 60s. So
the projection is it's gonna stabilize, and everything is gonna get back.
the smart money,
The smart money, yes.
at least, not my money.
Not mine either. So.
It's funny. I'm not very good at that gambling thing.
Me neither.
You know, as a matter of fact, I tell people if I put my money on this, you
Do it on the opposite.
Yeah, do the futures for lower,
There you go.
and you'll probably win. I'm just not very good at that. That's why I have somebody do that for me.
Yeah. But I do agree with you 100% on, with that as well. It's all relative to the economy. So if we have a huge price increases, it's going to slow down the economy. But I still think it's a great time to buy, especially right now. Either you pay rent to somebody else and they reap the rewards, or you move into home ownership and actually get the reward. So I think you're absolutely right. And it's a great time.
Yeah, it is. And again, let's look at what a lot of the experts, so-called experts, I mean, they are.
Sure.
These people do this every day. So a lot of people are predicting for future rates to only be 5.75 on a 30-year fixed, which is not far from where we're at now.
It's a great rate.
It is. And the difference between like a 6% and a 6 I'm sorry, a 6% and a 5.75,
Yes.
it depends on the loan amount.
Of course.
But you're only talking about $100 or less, $80 maybe, again, depending on the loan amount. So there's not a huge difference there. So that should not be the reason for you to hold off and wait. I want to wait till the rates get down below 6. No, don't do that, because that house that you're buying for $600,000 is going to be $650,000.
Yep. That's
I mean,
right.
I don't take I'm not telling you that that's what's going to happen.
No, but you just can't time the market. You just can't do it.
No, so just do it. Stop paying your landlord's mortgage and
That's right.
start paying your own.
Absolutely. And getting the tax benefits. We're in tax season, Jeff.
Right.
So tax, the interest expense write off. I mean, you could write off a lot of stuff being a homeowner.
Yeah, you still can. Yeah, until that gets taken away. But
Well, for today you still can, but yes.
You know what saves us there?
What's that?
Because most of the legislators own homes too.
That's of course.
As a matter of fact, the whole reason for the second home
Yeah.
is legislators, because they usually have a home where they're in their state.
Yes.
And then they may have a home in Virginia or Washington, D.C.
I didn't know that.
So that way, that's why our rates are basically the same for a second home as they are for a primary.
Oh, interesting. So I would imagine it'd be more risky to own a second, or to a lender at a higher interest. So similar then.
It is
Okay.
a little more risky.
Sure.
You are correct. But for some reason, the rates are about the same.
Interesting.
They might differ by a slight cost,
Yes.
but not the same as an investment.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, which is a great thing to have. So
Yeah. Oh,
a second home.
yeah. I'm trying to talk you into buying one up in Tahoe so I can use it.
I would love it.
You're talking about San Diego. I already have relatives down there.
That's right.
Yeah, I need you to buy one in Tahoe.
We could
so
go halves on it. We go find a nice little cabin. I love it.
I'd rather you just buy it, and then I can.
I'll see what I can do. I love it.
Yeah, let's work on that. We'll get you qualified. You're doing your taxes now, right?
Yeah, I'm knee deep in that right now, Jeff. I mean, it's one. I mean, we have to do them, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's like pulling. It's like going to the dentist. I don't want to do it. So.
That's a good thing to describe it as,
right?
The dentist, my least favorite person to go see. Very nice. I have a great dentist, but no, when they're sticking those metal objects in my mouth, and it's a no-go.
There's
for me.
Other things I'd rather be doing.
So the future, back on that. So we're both, I believe, saying the same thing. The future is good in real estate.
Yes. 100%. Yeah, I think this whole year is going to be a great year. I think we're going to see a lot more transactions, a lot more listings. We're already seeing it now. Statistically, from last year to this year, this first quarter is better. Not a ton better, but it is slightly better than it was last year. So the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, I've seen the graphs where, generally speaking, October, November, December, they're going down as far as listings.
Yep.
And listings prelude sales.
Right.
So as listings are going down, sales are usually going down. Then it jumps over to January of the next year. So January of this year was down. February is a little bit higher. March now is going to be much higher.
Yep.
And it begins to rise right up into June.
Absolutely. Kind of that artificial bell curve, if you could imagine that. Yeah, which is the best time to sell and buy, because you have a lot more to choose from and a lot more to sell to buyers.
Exactly. Some people think that, oh, geez, I'm in competition and buying. I think we talked about that too before.
I think we did.
Yeah, the buyer is not in competition with the seller. The buyer's in competition with other buyers. And the seller's not in competition with the buyers; they're in competition with other sellers.
You nailed it. That's exactly correct. Yeah. So,
yeah, I love that when you said that. That was good.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And it's been great. Thank you very much for joining. And let's do it again.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thank you so much.
You got it.